I love the filter that Bexy has on. It makes me feel like she's like in the poshest house ever. Bexy, I was saying I love the filter that you have on. It looks like you're like in the poshest house ever. I'm just like,
yeah, I wish.
Cool. Okay, can you see my window?
Yeah. Why do you guys not use backgrounds?
Why?
Yeah, you could be in like some posh houses too.
Yeah.
My laptop doesn't let me do it.
Oh.
Sure.
Yeah, like I mean, this computer probably does, but my laptop upstairs doesn't.
If you click on, you click on the arrow by stop video, where it says the video thing. You click the arrow there, and you click choose virtual.
Yeah.
Background or what's video filter? Is that different?
Virtual background.
So I know, yeah, and then you like put in a picture, right, from the
yeah.
ad thing, which I can do it on this laptop, but on this computer, but my laptop doesn't let me press the ad, so it doesn't.
Oh.
Yeah. So.
I had to record a video for my. We did like my friend got married in December, and it was a Zoom wedding because no one could go to the ceremony, but we made a whole we put together a thing with messages from like all family and friends, and they like cut to that between them when they went off to like sign everything for like 20 minutes. They put that in the middle, but I had to like edit it all together, and we did like a little skit with reporting like a corona briefing from Downing Street.
Next slide, please.
Talking about like wedding numbers, but I did. I had this as my green screen. Yeah, it's just like I think this is Buckingham Palace. This is Downing Street or Buckingham. Oh, maybe it's Buckingham Palace.
Buckingham Palace.
Looks a lot more like Buckingham Palace. Yeah.
So the Queen. I think that's when the Queen has her little meetings with the Prime Minister, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so you can see my MATLAB window, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, let's just run through it. So, okay, so we've obviously got clear. Do you remember the difference between what clear does and what CLC does?
Yeah, one of them wipes the command window. One of them works the command window and the workspace and everything.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's
exactly
CLC.
what I was going to say.
Yeah, so CLC does the window, the command window. So like clear, maybe it's clear command or something. Clear command window. And yeah, clear does everything else, the workspace and everything. So we do that. Then we load in our two CSV files and we name them file 1 and file 2. Do you remember how this one works? We decided we're going to delete the last code, right, in the file. So what happens here? What do we?
So doesn't that just delete it and fill it? Yeah.
Yeah, because end of the last row column. And then puts in blank the 2.
Yeah, so we got the end row and then all columns with the thing, and then a blank array in there. And then we load in we had the LED files for the syncing. So we've got 2 of those that we load in using the same thing as earlier, and we call that LED. I've called it LED file infant, LED file mum. And then we worked out that sync value, didn't we? We did the infant LED number minus the mum number. It doesn't really matter which way around you do it because we've taken the absolute value, which just turns any negative into a positive. So we've got a positive number as our sync value. And then we wanted I can't remember why we needed the last infant frame. Do we use that later on? I don't know why we've got that, but I've got it. Oh, we do use it. Sorry, to create the matrix. Yeah. So we created a matrix first with a load of zeros, and it was this number of rows and this number of columns. So we've done it. The number of rows we want is always going to be
the amount of
whatever we've taken our infant one. You could take either of them, but our infant one, the length. This is the same as writing end, where we've written length file 1. We could have just written end. And column 2 gives us the final frame number. So we've got the start frame and the end frame. Column 1 is the start frame. Column 2 is the end frame. So we've taken the last frame number of the infant file and called that last infant frame. And then we've created a matrix with that number of rows and 14 columns. And then what we did is we populated the frame numbers up until the first one. So if the first frame number that we've coded is like the number 600, we need it to populate in our matrix 1 to 599 going down. So what we did a for loop remember, for loops, we define like a range that we're going to go through, we're going to loop through. So we looped from the number 1 all the way up to whatever is in our infant file. And it's row 1, column 1, minus 1. So row 1, column 1, if I had 600 as the first frame I wanted, it would find 600 as row 1, column 1, and then it would minus 1, so it's 599. So it's going to loop from 1 up to 599. And each time in that matrix, for that, it's going to, in that number, row in column 7, which is our frame number column, it's going to put the number. And it just runs through and does that. Cool. And then we did, this one. So we said that we looked inside, we did a loop through from 1 up till the last row of the file. So let's say it had 70 rows, it would go from 1 to 70. We defined the code in that loop while it's looping. You've got each row, you've got a code in column 3. So we're always taking the code and it's doing whatever row we're in, column 3. So it takes the coding value. And then when it loops through each row, within that, we want it to then loop through from the first number, the start frame. So whatever row the row is, column 1, up until column 2. So let's say our first one has gone from 600 to 800. It's going to go, this would be 600 and it would go up to 800. So it'd be looking at row 1 of the file first, and it would go from that 600 value up to the 800 value. And each time in the matrix, it would put in the frame number column 7, it would put the number I, which is whatever the frame number is that we're looking at, in that row. And it loops through like 600 to 800. And then when that ends, it comes back up here, and this number, the R, would go up to 2. So then it would go to row 2, and it would be from like 801 up to 1000. And it would do that there. So you've got 2 loops going. You've got the one in each row, you've got the one from the starting frame up to the end frame. But then wrapped around that, it also loops through each row as well. And then while it's doing that, we also have this, we're putting in the coding value, right, as a 1 in whatever column it is. But we've done our sync value. So we worked out, didn't we, that if the LED, the infant is less than the mum value, then we're putting into our matrix, we're putting into whatever the frame number is that we're on that row, plus we're going to drop it down, so plus the sync value, and whichever column the 6, so if the code was a 3, it would put it in column 3, and it would put a 1 in there. Otherwise, it does the same. If the inf isn't greater than the mum, it doesn't move the infant, and it just puts it in the right place. And that was it. Makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we did the same for the mum. Won't go through that, but it's the same. And then what we did is we wanted, sometimes you will always probably have zeros at the bottom of either the mum or the inf, or both maybe on the frame. Oh no, just on one of them, I think. On the frame numbers, you'll have zeros. So we just wanted to fill in the rest of those. So we just done it, so we looked at them separately. So for the infant, we look in all rows where all rows for column 7, where there's a 0, that's this like find is member, and it's like index, it creates an array in here of row numbers where that occurs. All the row numbers where there's a 0 in the row. So it gives us all the row numbers, and then what we do is those row numbers, we go from the first one that it gives us, so let's say it's number 17,000, up until the last one, so let's set 17,000 up till 18,000, and column 1. So it gives us like just a long list, a long column of frame numbers. So it gives us those, and we loop through those, and we basically do what we did earlier. We add in those row numbers, we add the number for column 7 for the infant, and then we did the same for column 14 for the mum. So that was our code. Yeah. Any questions on that, or it makes sense?
No, that makes sense.
Nice. Cool. So yeah, so I thought we would we can use the matrix now to do something. So I thought, we can say, basically you want to save it as a file somewhere, and then we can import it elsewhere. So yeah, do you both have up your own one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think what we'll do is we'll all like put the export code in, but then maybe we'll use the same matrix file for all of us to do the next bit, because just so we've got the same. I think we'll just make it easier if we're using the same file. There's gonna be lots of numbers flying around, so it'll be a bit easier. Okay, I'm actually going to pull up because I've actually forgotten exactly what to write on this. All right. So this is the code that we want. Okay, so we use this write matrix command. Is this the one where I've done it? Oh, this is individual ones. Okay, so yeah, we just use this write matrix command, and all you do is you define in the first parameter is you define what matrix you want to write from your workspace, the one you've created, and then you just put the file name, and it's as easy as that. He says famous last words. Let me just get into 26.1. Yeah. So yeah, if you then run, just make sure you put in the your right file name, I guess, for whatever your video is. I just put underscore matrix under it afterwards, just so I know what it is. I'm going to run it. So let's run, and then I'm just going to check that it's exported out. I'll share the rest of the thing in a second. Has it worked?
Mine's just having a bit of issues at the moment. I think it's because I moved things onto my new computer.
Oh, okay.
I need to find that.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah, nice. So yeah, this is my one here. It says it was done. I just ran it, so it's done. Created today. I'm just going to the preview of it.
Hard drive open.
Great.
Here we go. Let's pop these all back. Oh, that was loud.
Cool. What am I showing here? Okay, yeah. So just started a new file. So actually, you can do this without me, but so what we'll do is start the script with the stuff you would normally do for clearing everything, and then load in your matrix file and just call it matrix, I guess. just get that running, and then make sure that pops up in your workspace on the right when you run it.
The longest file name is fucking ever.
Yeah.
You guys got any nice plans for the weekend?
Sleeping probably. About any dreams about like handing your submission in late?
Oh God.
Yeah. Bye. Look. Look. No plans. No plans. No plans for another like month. I'm going to start on this work, I think. Cool. You got that working, or?
Yeah.
If you run it, it should hopefully you should get a thing on your right that says matrix. If you double click on that, it will open it up in Matlab, and you should be able to see you got the thing.
Save.
So yeah, it will ask you to save it as well.
Okay, mine's asking to save.
Yeah, I've just called it session 5. Okay, so we can now think about what we actually want to do with this. So we've got, let me just make this bigger. So we've got this matrix file. So we can do anything we want, right? We can, it might take us, some things will take us longer to build than others, but we can, so obviously, so Crystal, this is different to yours, right? So we've got toy 1, toy 2, toy 3. 4 is the partner look, the rest of the same, partner look, inattentive and uncodable.
Yep.
And same for the mum. So I think we've made the same for yours, right? So I think when you do use your column 2 and 3 are just empty. They're all zeros, and your column. There is a way to do it if you want. There is a way to do it where you can make it more dynamic, so it just makes it as wide as it needs to be. But
at the moment, no. Yeah.
It's just as useful.
Mine says it says that the name isn't valid, even though it's exactly the same.
You have to take, if you've got a space between session and 5.
Right, have you got any spaces in your file names?
Yeah, if you've got a space, it won't be valid, so you have to take the spaces out.
No. It looks like it looks to me like it's written exactly the same.
Oh, like actually opening up the matrix file.
Yeah.
The matrix or the
matrix. Doesn't it says Matlab can only run a file with a valid name.
What's it say on your workspace? Has it got this? Has it got to say matrix and then?
Yeah.
I would copy, if you need the matrix file, I would just copy the name of the matrix file from the get info. I don't know, it's on Mac, I said like where you get info of the file name. So just in case there's anything that's like a spelling mistake in there wrong or something. Okay,
let's give that a go.
Just make sure the value says in the workspace that it says like, it should say like 17,549 times 14. If it doesn't say this, then it's not loading it in.
I don't know what's happening.
Do you want to share your screen or?
I can share it. Let's find where that is.
I haven't got a sign in. You're signed in on Sam's, but I'm not signed into anyone's on my Matlab.
Yeah, you need to, I don't even need to be signed. I don't know why it's signed in with Sam's, but you can sign into your own one, can't you? UEL one now.
Ah, can you?
Yeah, they've got, you can get free Matlab for free. Matrix is interesting. So yeah, once you press run. Yeah, you've got a dot and a space. It's in. So yeah, Crystal meant in your file, your MATLAB file. Your
This.
MATLAB. Yeah, no, your actual MATLAB, the actual script. The script, you called it Matrix Session 5.
Okay. I see.
It doesn't even let you save it as that. So yeah,
It
maybe
has-
just either close it and rename. You need to remind it to close it before you can rename it.
Okay, I will correct that. Let's
Or
see.
just do a new save as or something. So you can't. You're not allowed spaces in it. And I probably wouldn't put the dot in it as well.
Yeah.
You see it? It's the last one on you.
It's so
There we go.
weird how it could be really funny about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not clear like what it
Yeah, it
means.
should-
It's
it should
just like
stop
it doesn't.
to-
It
yeah.
just doesn't work.
I don't know if that will update immediately. You might have to close it in MATLAB and then reopen it.
Yes.
It's there on the left, isn't it? At the bottom.
Where's it gone now? That's the right folder.
Nice. Cool. That should work.
Yay! Thank you. I'll let you have the screen back.
Cool. Okay, so yeah, so if you double click that on the right, like see it will open up the full matrix. Cool, yeah, so we can have a think about what we might want to do with this. So yeah, we've got options. So any ideas of things we might want to do?
Like 4 is looking partner looking, right?
4 is partner, looks to partner, yeah.
So I guess just like one thing, or just to like easiest things, right? Just to see how long, add up how long each the infant has looked at the partner and the adult has looked at the baby, sort of thing, partner.
Yeah.
And then you can look at the toys and add them up as well and see which toy was looked at the most, and then from that looking at maybe follow and leader things.
Yeah.
I guess looking at like frequency and like how many times did the baby look at the mum and how long for, maybe is probably a good starting point. I don't know if you guys agree.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that's kind of what I did first, because I thought it'd be easier to start by working out the times for each, like how long did the baby look at toy 1, how long did they look at toy 2, how long did they look at the partner, because it's just adding up. It's essentially just adding up all at once, and that gives you the number of frames, and then you can work out how many seconds that is, and then you can turn it into bar graphs and stuff like that. And then the leader follower stuff is a different process. But yeah, that's what I did first. So should we do that? Do you want to work out? I mean, we could even put them into a bar graph if you want. If you want to create, yeah.
Would like to see that, because I have just no idea how to do that at all.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. I did it a while ago, and I don't think I did it in a very efficient way, but I'm sure we could do it through like a for loop or something. Yeah, I think there's a better way we can do this. Okay, well let's start by the way because I think what would be good. I think it would be possible to loop through each column and sum each column, and then put those sums in we'll make like a new matrix or a new array of all those values, and it basically will give you all the additions. Yeah. I could do like a whiteboard, kind of. Yeah, because last time I had that disastrous whiteboard that I made.
We got so confused.
So basically, if we're gonna make a graph, so let's just think about like a bar chart. Sorry for the math. Let's say this is time. The way I did it before, and the way I think you would see it on a lot of things would be like this, where you would have just 3 toys, for example, where you would have, so let's say the infant is red, the mum is and the mum is blue, I think you would do it like this, you know,
Yeah,
where you have these
compare.
next to each other, you know. So like mum would be blue, and an infant would be red. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I would have done it as well.
So we can, and then this is like, for example, like toy one is here, and then yeah. Ugh, no, you get it. So okay, so then if we think about that in terms of a table and how you would turn a table into a graph, what do we need? We need like columns and rows, right? So like if this were a table, is there no way to do like lines or something on this side? If this were like a table, what would we need? What would our like columns and rows be for us to turn it into a graph? So what data do we need to fill this? We've got an x-axis and a y-axis, right?
So we need seconds at one of it.
Yeah, so we're going to need seconds, and we're going to need
like number. Is it numbers of toys or something?
yes, we're going to need the toy number. We've got three things here. We've got the time, we've got the toy number, or the part, or the look.
Oh, yeah.
And then we've got one other thing as well, which is who's doing the look. Is it the mum?
Yeah.
So I think the way I would do it is, I don't know, I think I'd probably do it like this. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. So that, why is it so big? So that's inf. If we did that, let me just check. Let's see if this works. So we did that as infant, we did that as mum. So we just had two columns, infant and mum, and then if we went down and did like toy one here, and then the next one would be, the next row would be toy two. Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, we're going to put the time in the cell. So we're going to put the frame, or the sum, we'll put the total number of frames. Or we could do it either way. Maybe we'll put the seconds. Maybe we'll put the seconds in here, actually. So that we basically want to create this thing. So there's going to be. So how many rows are we going to? How many rows are we going to have?
1, 6, 8.
What are your eight? What are your 8 rows?
8, 4.
Yeah, you would have 4. We would have. Oh, actually, you're. Yeah, sorry. Maybe it depends what you want to put on the graph, I guess. But yeah, we would have toy 1, toy 2, toy 3.
And
We'd have 6.
Yeah, we'd probably do inattentive. I don't know if it's uncodable. Maybe we'd leave uncodable. But yeah. Okay.
Would we want to do frequency instead of time, like how frequent they?
You could do both, right? So you can do one that's time, like the amount of time altogether, and then you can do then frequency as well.
Yeah.
When you say frequency, do you mean like the number of? What do you mean by frequency?
Looks, do you mean?
Yeah. So like the mother looks at the baby 10 times during the interaction. The baby looks at the mum 2 times.
Right. Yeah, that's also doable. That's a separate thing, but we can do that.
Maybe not today.
No, that's actually I like that one because that's a bit easier than. That's kind of a really nice starting point for doing the leader follower stuff because it uses the same. Basically, because you've got to look at when the person starts the look. So like when it goes from a 0 to a 1, that's what you're looking at. You basically you'll just count all the times it goes from 0 to 1 in a column, and that's all the times that they've started a look. So that's how you get your frequency. So we can do that, and that's a really good way into then the leader follower stuff, which I think gets more complex but uses the same thing. But I think this is a good place. I think this is a good starting point as well. It's a bit simpler, and then we do that one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm gonna. Oh, cool. Just saved that. Nice.
Sorry, guys, I'm actually going to eat while
Oh, right. Okay. Bex, I thought you were eating earlier.
I know, but the clocks changed. Like we're still in the old time.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah, so,
Oh yeah, I was watching where I had Chinese for dinner tonight. It was lovely.
Chinese
Already had it.
takeaway or
Yeah, I had Chinese takeaway.
that's quite fun.
nice.
What did you have?
I had actually quite boring, but sweet and sour chicken balls, special fried rice, and chips and prawn crackers.
Nice.
Bit of a boring one. But I watched that Seaspiracy. I don't know if you've watched it on Netflix.
No.
Oh, I watched the Seaspiracy documentary, which is kind of like the Cowspiracy one that was out. And now I want to stop eating fish and I want to go vegan, but we'll see. This hasn't happened yet. I'm just thinking about it.
I've seen Cowspiracy, but not Seaspiracy.
Yeah, Seaspiracy is a new one. I think it came out the other day. Really good. Recommend.
Yeah, check it out. All right, let's create that. So what we're going to do is we're going to like initialize that table. So we're going to like create it, but not fully. Can we fully? Yeah, no, we can. Sorry, we can. We know exactly how many rows and exactly how many columns we want. So we can actually like create. We can basically let's create the table with a load of zeros in it. Okay. So maybe what do you want to call it? So this is going to have our. We'll do it with our second. I think we'll put it into seconds. I think. Yeah, let's put it into seconds. So maybe we'll call it like timetable or something. Do you want to? Yeah. So see if you can create a matrix of zeros that has. Let's do toy 1, toy 2, toy 3, look to partner, and inattentive. So let's do five rows and 2 columns.
Hey.
Sorry. What was that?
Just I was like, yay, I did it. In fact, I remembered how to do it.
I'm just testing something. What's that? Amazing. Okay, that works. Cool. Nice. All right. Yeah. Have you done that? Have you done the zeros? The zeros thing. Cool. So yeah, you should have a new thing on your right that looks like this. So yeah, timetable. If you open it, you should just have 5 things with zeros. Just by the way, I think you can also. I don't know when this is useful, but you can actually do it with ones as well. I think instead of zeros, so you can actually write the word ones and it does it with ones. I think that's it. I don't think you can do like. I'm pretty sure it's just ones and zeros. You can do it. You can do it with. I'm going to do it with zeros though.
Zeros.
Cool. Okay, so what we want to do, so so what we're going to do is we are going to build a for loop that goes through each column, but let's start by just doing one of the columns. Okay, so let's just take that first column, so infant looking at toy 1, and get the value, the number of seconds into our table. Yeah?
Yeah.
So, do you want to try it? If I tell you, I think we might have done it in the past, but we used the function sum. Use the function sum to like find the sum of something. Like you can sum certain columns and rows in a matrix.
Okay.
So see if you can first, basically you want to get the value, you want to get this number, the number of ones in the, because they're ones, we can literally just sum them and it gives us the total number of frames. Does that make sense? So if there's 50 ones, we know that they've looked at the toy 50 frames in total, which is actually 1 second. So see if you can figure out how you can sum that first column in the matrix, and then see if you can put it into that first cell of the timetable matrix. Testing your skills now. So. I like how Bexy's hidden the bottom half of her face. We don't watch her eat. What are you having, Bexy? I can't remember what you said you have.
Oh, it's chicken and vegetables. Trying to be healthy.
Nice. Crystal and I are on like takeaway Chinese.
I was gonna have McDonald's for lunch today, and then Mum's like, "I'm gonna get Chinese for dinner." So I was like, "Oh, I can't quite get McDonald's for lunch today, though. I'm getting takeout tomorrow. I'm gonna eat that weekend."
Well, when I say chicken, the chicken's from Nando's. We've just like we tried to avoid eating chips, so we've just like cooked some vegetables at home. So half.
You can do all of. I think you can do all this in one line, but you could do it in a couple if you wanted to. Just try and build it up. Yeah, you can definitely do it in one line. It's going to get a bit complex. Oh God, someone's just asked.
Don't even.
Someone just posted in the lab too. I think they've not understood what lab 2 is.
I actually can't cope with people on this course. When Xenia today, she stressed me out when she was just like something about there's loads of correlation like tables. And I was just like, regression tables. I'm like, hon, the deadline is like in 20 minutes. Please.
Yeah. I think she was asking about like the split of males and females as well, like about 2 hours before the deadline. Like,
yeah, I mean, you could just put it all into one table. Yeah, not the time to be freaking out. How are you guys going on with this?
I can't remember.
That's all right.
Yeah, I'm not doing much better.
That's all right. What have you got? What ideas have you got? What's the? Yeah.
I know that you have we would have to do something with the matrix file and look for the whole length of column 1 and add up, sum up all the length. So I think that's correct, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
But remembering how I would do that.
Yeah.
Something length end, but I'm like, how?
You don't need to do that because you can just use the colon, right? Just to do all rows.
Okay, so I put in sum matrix colon 1.
Like that.
Yeah. Is that not? But I don't know if that's.
That's correct. Yeah, that's.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, but it will give you an error because you're not doing anything
To do it, right? Because then I have to. Oh, and then you have to add it somewhere, right?
The answer. If you press play, if you run it without a semicolon, that should tell you the answer.
And then print it into.
It just because we haven't put a semicolon, it's just printing it at the bottom.
And then
but we need to put it. Bexy, is that what you had or?
I put sum equals
Okay.
and matrix, so then it kind of just gave me like a whole. I think it gave me all the values in the column.
You created a variable called sum.
Yeah.
And you sum equal that whole column. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sum is what we call a function. So functions will always have these brackets straight after.
Mm-hmm.
So the same way that load is a function up here. So when we say something's a function, load is a function, it will load whatever's in the bracket. Sum is a function, it will sum whatever it's got inside its bracket. So that's great. So okay, here's. And
then do you do? I can't remember, so this could be completely wrong, and this is where I think I'll start getting really messy code. But then you make that. Oh, I would make that 7 then. If you can do this, make that that number into a variable, and then print that variable into row 1, column 1.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
You can do that. That works perfectly well. But you're also repeating something you might actually don't necessarily need to do. So do you remember so what we do is, this is kind of the way it works, right? We have a location equals a value, and it basically assigns a value. You can always assign a value to a location the same way that you can assign a value to a variable, right? So we could say, we did it in the earlier ones in the other one where we were doing do you remember we said matrix, at one point we had matrix I7 equals I. We were putting, and where I was the frame number, the row number, the frame number. So we were putting the value of the frame number in row I, column 7. So we were putting the value in a location. We weren't. This isn't a variable. We were putting it straight into the location.
Yeah, so it could be.
Yeah. Because all a variable does is essentially it's like saying x equals 5. But why do we need to put x into the location when we can put 5 straight into the location? If we're not using it again for other things, then you might as well just put it straight in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So this is our value, right? This gives us a number. This is our value. So we want to put it into a location. And where do we want to put it?
Into the timetable.
Yeah.
1
equals. Nice.
Oh, I'm really starting to get this. And then I forget it all.
Yeah. Nice, that's good, yeah. And if you run that, if you keep this open, by the way, if you keep open your thing, you'll see it update in real time as you run it. If you keep your timetable thing open. And it updates.
Yeah, got it.
So we got does that work? Makes sense. Too busy eating chicken. Nando's chicken.
Oh, there I'm listed here. I just need to.
This then I kind of understand what you were saying earlier, Dean, that you could probably do some online, but we're gonna the longest way to do this is just to repeat this, right, for every single 8 times. But you could in theory, there's probably a different way to do it, but
exactly. Just to show as well what you were saying, Chris, before you were gonna do this. You were gonna make like a variable, and then you were gonna do this equals var. Basically, you would like do that where you were creating a variable for the number, and then you wanted to put the variable in the location, which works as well, but it's just unnecessary. But if you wanted to use the variable for anything else later on, then this is what you would do.
Okay.
You can then reuse this like for other things.
Yeah.
But we don't need to do that here. So. Yeah, so we got two options here. One is we can have 10 of these and it's done. Or we can create a for loop. I need to figure out how we would do that. Yeah, let me just see. Sorry, let me just test something myself. Two gives a 3, 1 gives that 3.
I'm just making some really inefficient code.
Two. Okay, great. I think we can do that. Okay. What do you want? I mean, yeah, we can copy it, or we can do something else, which is quite interesting. Like it's useful to test to practice the for loop thing. I'm just gonna do something here because I want to just show you something. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
I don't know if are you still writing stuff? Or you can ignore what I'm doing, by the way. As in, you don't need to copy it. I'm just going to show you something.
Oh no, I was just writing my really inefficient code out.
Oh, okay. so I've basically just put in some other random numbers in here. Okay. So the thing when we want to do a for loop, the reason that I need to think about something is what we're going to do is we basically want to, if you think about the matrix, what we want to loop through, we want to loop here the columns because we want to do number column 1, and then we want to do something for column 2, and then we want to do something for column 3, and then we want to do something for column 4. So we're going to loop through from one column up to the next column, up to some other columns, right? And then every time we do that, we want it to be put in a different cell in the timetable matrix, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we also need to work out. We're not going to define we can't. It's very hard to go like 1 2 1 1 1 2 2 1 2 2. That it's going to be difficult to increment on each loop, the row and the column. I think like that. So there is another way, because basically what we're going to do is we're going to add 1 to every time it loops through. We're going to add 1 to something, which is going to determine where it's going to go in our table. That'll make sense in a second.
Yeah.
So what I've just checked and worked out is I've just put some random numbers in this matrix, right? So we can go time table 1 1. I haven't put the semicolon here, so it will print the number for us at the bottom. So 1 1 we know is going to give us 3826. If I put 3 2, what's it going to give us?
What's 723?
Yeah, 723. So row 3, column 2. Great. So there is another way of calling these values. So instead of doing row and column, you can actually just put a single number. So if I put 1, this is called the index. I think it's called the index in it. So the way it runs, I thought it ran a different direction to this, but the way it is running on here is it's going here, it's going down like this, and then it comes.
And then it goes. I have seen that. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a 1. So how would I return? So if that's a 1 and the number 2 gives us this 3, what would I put in the bracket to return 723?
8.
8. Yeah. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we can actually use this as a way of, because when we do a for loop, what we're going to do is, this is actually going to be called like x or something. And in the loop, we're going to do x. At the end of the loop, each loop, we're going to do x equals x plus 1.
So then add something.
X, we might say that x starts at, let's say x starts at 1, and then we run some for loop start and loop end. So if this makes sense. So we start where x equals 1. So we start at like the 3826.
This goes through.
And then it does the loop where it puts in the number. And then before it ends, it then adds 1 to x. So x now becomes 2 and it loops again. So now it's going to put something, it's going to do something in here. It's like do something. It's going to do something and put it in here. Yeah, does that make sense? This is a really common thing that you do in loops, is you do something, you do a +1 and you like increment a value of something. It's a really common thing to do. So I think we should do that. I think that's a more interesting way. We could just copy that line 10 times, but it's not good practice. And imagine we had to do it with something else where it was a lot more than 10. Like it's all we want to do more in this file. Like it's better to learn how to do it another way that's more like more flexible. You can use it for bigger data sets and stuff. Okay, so now what we're going to do is so what can we call this then? Instead of calling it timetable 1.1, what can we call this? In bracket, what can we put in the bracket?
You just put 1.
Yeah, we can just put 1. Great. So if I run it, I've deleted all my other stuff, so it's gone there. Great. So what we're actually now going to do is we're going to create a for loop. So I'm just going to put a for and an end because we know we're going to need a for and an end. Let's do that. Let's call it x. Okay, let's call timetable x. And what we're going to do, because it's a bit weird because our columns are going to jump. Because we only want columns, for the matrix, we want columns 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Yeah.
So there is a way to do that, and I'm just trying in mind to just test this.
I say, or we just do 2 for loops, right?
But I think we can. No, yeah, but I think that we can. I'm not sure the quickest way to do this. But basically, what we can do is, we could create like a column. I'm going to call it an array because it is an array. This is a new variable I'm calling col array, and you can use a square bracket. And I'm just going to do the column numbers that we want. Okay, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Those are the column numbers we want. If I run that, we get this thing, we get this. It just gives us a load of these numbers. So actually now what we can do is we can actually reference this column array for the column names. If that's going to make sense. That makes sense. So remember, we want to create a range in a for loop. We want to create a range. So the range, the thing we want to loop through, that we want to range through, is the column on the matrix, because we want to go column 1, then column 2, then column 3. Yeah, so this is this column thing here. That's what is going to change on the loop every time.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So ignore this where we're going to put it for now. Just think about the loops and what we want to be taking from each loop. So every time we want to take the sum of all the in the matrix of all the rows of a specific column.
That column.
Yeah. So I'm just going to call that a letter. I'm going to call it the letter K, the column K. And we're going to create a range called K. So it's going to start at a certain value and it's going to end at a certain value, the column number. And that's why I've created this. So we can use this. We can use the start and the end here. We can use column array as our range to go from here up to here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And we already know everything for this. So our range is going to be column array. It's basically going to be the start to the end of the column array row. So we've got one row. We've only got one row. I think we can actually do that. No, sorry. I think we can do that. I think we can do that. Might be wrong. I'm using the same logic as this timetable thing with just the single number. I might be wrong about that actually. We can test that and see if that works. If that doesn't work, yeah, nothing's going to work yet because we haven't defined X or anything, unfortunately. So yeah, so the way we've got it, let's hope that does. Well, let's actually, you know what? Let's do column array. Let's do just something we know is we're going to do row 1, and let's go from column 1 up to, let's just make it manual. So we're going up to column 10. Okay, we can change this later just to make it more efficient, but we know that's going to work. So yeah, so in our column array thing, we're doing row 1 and we're going from column 1 all the way up to column 10. So whatever that value is going to be K for each loop. So it starts at 1, then it goes 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 8, then 9, 10, 11, 12. And that is going to be the column number that we take here from our matrix. We take a value of the sum of that and we put it in our timetable for X. That makes sense?
Yep.
There should be the same number of column array numbers here as we have cells in our, which there are, as cells in that little table we made, that little matrix. There's 10, there's 5 by 2.
Yep.
So what we can do is, it's actually what I wrote earlier. So we're actually going to start with X as being
1.
Wait, sorry, no, I think we define it before. I think we need to define it here. Sorry, because if we define it there, you just got something where you got to define this. If we defined it here, and then we did X equals X plus 1, then when it loops back round, here X becomes 2, but actually by the time it gets here, it's going to reset it back to 1. So it always like runs through and resets things, and then it stays at that value. So we need to put it up. If you put it up here, this can still be valid for inside the for loop. So X is 1, and the for loop starts. When it hits here the first time, X is going to be 1, and then it will add and become 2. For loop ends, goes back to this row 10, and X is still 2, and it will keep doing that. So actually, I think that's it. I think that's the whole thing. Famous last words. That's actually quite a cool bit of code. I like that. It's quite cool. Nice. That's way better than the way I did it last time. That's nice. So how's your house looking?
I have got something not right.
Test this as well.
And mine's showing an error to.
You an error?
Yeah.
What's the error you got, Bexy?
It says invalid expression when calling a function or indexing a variable user parenthesis. Otherwise, check for mismatch delimiters.
Does it say what line?
11.
Have you got the right number of brackets at the end around the matrix and the thing? So there should be 2 closing ones at the end. Have you got that?
Yeah, that looks the same as yours.
Do you want to share it?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, I'll try to tell you what it is. Work it out.
I've got the same. I've got the. Three. I don't hear that you haven't.
Yeah. Okay. It's because your column array is the wrong number of things. So you've got your column array needs to be all of the. So that column array. You're basically you're putting in the columns you're going to want to use from your matrix, right?
Yes.
But because you've got 10, you're looping through 10 times, but your column array is only 6 long. So this is what your column array should look like. Yours says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and ends, whereas it needs to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's why I think it's messing up, because it's not able to loop through. It's blank, like the columns are blank when it tries to get to like 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, I just reran it with. Okay, it hasn't updated there.
Oh yeah, but get rid of, now you've got too many. So it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get rid of the 6 and the 7. Because there should be 10 numbers in there. Yeah, it says 10 numbers now. And we're going 1 to 10. Timetable. X equals 1. For K. Yeah. So it's your row 10 actually, it's the issue. Okay. Row 10, so you're looking at row 1 from columns 1 to 10 in where? Which table are you looking in, and which matrix are you looking in for that?
Should be looking in this matrix. 21.
No, so we're looping through. So you've got it open actually on the left, what you're actually looping through there. So you're looping through row 1, column 1, all the way up to row 1, column 10. Which matrix have you got 10 columns in? You don't at the moment because it hasn't run it yet.
Matrix.
You will do when it works. Line 7 is your clue.
Yeah, line 7.
Line 7. Yeah. No, sorry, line 7 in your script.
Okay. This one.
Currently, because it's not letting you run it, so it's currently not got 10, but it will have 10 when it will. But basically, that's the one where we're looping through those numbers, so we're incrementing those numbers.
So if I comment those.
Oh yeah. If you can, yeah, perfect. Yeah, no, you still. So the point is that you need to the row 10. You haven't said where. So you're looking at row 1 for row 1 from column 1 up to column 10, but you haven't said which table you're looking in.
So do I need to put column array?
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
Okay, got there in the end.
It's a bit now. It is always hard, I find, these folders when you look at them from the start. That's why I like starting in the inside and working out. I find it a bit easier to conceptualize, because what you're doing here is, that column array. All you're doing is defining the column numbers that you're going to use in that line 11 for the matrix. When you do the summing, you're just defining those column numbers. That's it, and you're looping through each of those columns. So you're doing the reason we're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then up to 8 is because we're not doing the uncodable one, which is column 6, and we're not doing the frame numbers, which is column 7. And it's the same for 13 and 14. We're not doing uncodable and frame numbers for the month. We just want the toys, and we want the partner look and the inattentive look.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, cool. So I think that should be it. It should have worked, and you should have timetable now. Should be all of your values. Hopefully.
Let's have a look.
Hey.
And then we also, in that, is there a way that we can then
turn them into seconds?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we should turn it in seconds before it gets printed, right?
Yeah, you can either way, whatever you prefer. But yeah, you see, yeah, if you wanted to turn it into seconds before, do you want me to share? If you want to turn it into seconds, so where is the so that we're putting a value in here, right? Like 3826. Where do we create that number currently? Like, where is 3826 coming from in our script? Where is it coming from? Like, how do we, yeah, what's the maths that creates 3826?
The sum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the value. So do you remember that thing I wrote before, like location equals value? Our location where we're going to put it. This is the value we're going to put in. So if we want our value, instead of it being this, we want it to be the seconds. How do we? And we're working at 50 frames per second, aren't we? On our videos. I'm assuming yours are the same, Crystal.
Hope so.
Yeah, something to check. But so ours are at 50. So how would we turn
Just
that into?
divide that by 50.
Yeah, divide it by 50. Literally do that.
Yeah, that's a much easier way to do it than writing it out 10 times.
Yeah, I'm just thinking how to do it to like 2 decimal places.
I was going to ask how you do that. You did tell us.
Yeah, it's I do have
a script somewhere.
For printing and how to do it, but to do it as a to do it in this, I'm not sure how to do it. I think we do that. Okay, so round places. No, doesn't work. Hang on, I'm just thinking.
Sorry, the laptop was about to die.
That's right.
Fun.
Matrix. I'm just testing something here in terms of X. I'll find it. I'm just looking on Google, basically, just trying to see how to do it. Interesting. Not sure. Figure it out. Have to figure it out later.
Yeah, probably not the.
I think we just round it. Let's look at something. Gives us. It already has been rounded. So y is matrix. Maybe our timetable up here. Define matrix to 2 decimal places. Not sure at the moment. I'll figure it out later. But yeah, so we got our that's a lot nicer, right, than doing like copying it 10 times, right? I just think it's a much neater way of doing it. So we've got all the numbers there. I mean, you can already see, right, if the number one is the infant, because what it did, if you think about it, this first number did column 1, and then going down did column 2, and then down it did column 3. We incremented x, right, which was incrementing this number going down like this. So every time we incremented that, we incremented in the column array. So then we got our mother numbers here. So the looking to partner is this one. So you can see how much more the mum is looking to the baby than the baby's looking to the mum. Immediately just from looking at that, which is quite cool. Like you wouldn't be able to know that from looking at either the original coding file or the matrix file just by eye. You wouldn't know that. So immediately you've got something like useful from this. And then yeah, we may as well just throw it into a bar chart, right? And then we can maybe done. And then we're done for today, I guess. I'm just going to save that. I'm going to open my bar chart one because I honestly cannot remember.
How would we write the code if we wanted to have the seconds in obviously those 2 columns, but we wanted to have the next few columns to have the numbers that we had before? Would we have to somehow print it to shift over?
The frame numbers afterwards.
Yeah. So if we wanted to have all the frame numbers added up as they were before we just divided them by 50.
I think you could probably do in here because basically in each loop, if you got it to do 2 things,
and you tell it to print in another column.
Yeah. So firstly, you would make your table at the start would have 4 columns instead of 2 zeros, and then what I would do is we can have x be incrementing an x having, let's say you wanted the frames first. We'd get rid of the divided by 50, and then I could do, because we know there's 10 here, we could do x plus 10, and then I think this will work, and then it will start with 11, which would be up here, and it would go all the way up to 20. So I think it would print both at the same time, so it would print up here and up here. If I do that, if I do a breakpoint
and just take out that divided 50 as well.
No, I only want to divide 50 on the first.
Oh yeah.
Right, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If I break here, what it's doing is actually, you know what? Let's go back. Let's break here first. So the first thing it does here is it prints the frame number like we had before earlier, the frame number into x. And then I've done x plus 10. So if x was 1, we started with x as 1 because we defined it as 1. Let's see. 1 plus 10. 1 plus 10 takes us to 11, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11 up here. So up to 11, it's now going into the seconds. Yeah, adds that in, and then I'll loop round so that it does, x now does plus 1, so x becomes 2. So now the frame number goes in there, and 2 plus 10 is 12, so it's going to go, the seconds will go in. So that's how you would do it. And then you got all of them, and you can use whichever ones you want, I guess.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For some reason it hasn't worked for me. I've got yet another error.
Okay. That's all right.
Error in line 12.
Got it. It's cool what you can do with just manipulating the not adding tens, and I just think it's nice how you can just get too excited by it, but it's nice.
It says that I've attempted to grow array along ambiguous dimension.
You change your thing to 4 columns.
I did not.
Mm,
That's why.
yeah. Interesting that it doesn't work, but yeah. Oh yeah, it would be why, because now we're not doing it as because we're doing this like X thing, we're taking like an index of what already exists. We're not saying like row 1 column. If you had done like row 1 column 3, it would have added that for you, but because we're indexing it, the index just doesn't exist, so that's why it's
Okay, thanks. It's worked now.
right. Cool. Yeah, nice. That's cool. That's a good idea actually, because then you've got both to play with if you want as well. All right, bar graphs. That's true. See, look, what a mess. What I did the first time I did this. What a mess. Look at that. Absolute
I
mess.
would one as well.
It's an eyesore. God. So I've learned stuff. So look, that's so much nicer, isn't it? God, what an absolute eyesore.
But sometimes when you're just learning, right, that's what you have to do, isn't it? You have to do it like that, and then
Absolutely. Right. Well, this is it. It's a bit. Unfortunately, it's just gonna have to copy it because it's just.
Are you able to just copy that code and just post it in the chat?
Yeah. Let me do that. We might need the bit at the bottom as well, but I'm just gonna see. Yeah, just check if that doesn't get, and we're gonna have to change a few things in here, just some variable names and stuff. I can talk you through it though.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember all of it, but I remember. Yeah, I remember some of it.
Oh fuck! That's like gone on one line.
Actually, I haven't even.
Did you write this yourself, or did you find out how to do this from?
Yeah, I wrote it myself, but just from like. Yeah, just using Matlab. Like, well, no, some of it I stole. Like, I just looked up, how do I do bar charts with adjacent, like, and just did it from there, and then wrote in obviously my own stuff, changed some font numbers and sizes and things. I'm just trying to work out though, because I think I've done this sort of different. What's it even using? Group totals. That's what it's using. Okay, let me just run this actually because I need to just check. That's what it's going to produce, something like that. Perfect. I think this actually is going to be okay. Yeah, perfect. I actually did the same thing myself previously as what you suggested. Yeah, perfect. Cool. So we can actually use this same script, which is nice.
Helpful.
This basically creates what we need, but then you can customize and do other things. So you always have you managed to copy and paste it in?
Yeah.
So great. So you always start a new plot with this figure 1, and then there's ways to like so you can actually do like figure 1, figure 2, figure 3, and run it all and have lots of things pop up at once. So figure 1, I can't remember what this stuff means, to be honest. But yeah, we need to change here. It's a bar graph. We need to change. This is the variable name that we're going to be using. So we're going to be using timetable. I've set the bar width to 1 in this. You can play around with that number as well and see what else happens. This has set the. This must have set the legend for the 2 columns, I'm guessing, infant and mum. And then it's basically put so HB, and then it's taken, it's basically done a different color for each of the infant and then the mum bars. Sorry that I don't know this too well.
No. And is that the numbers of the colors? Like that's the coding of the colors?
Yeah, is it an RGB? It can't be an RGB because it's point. Yeah, I don't know what that is. What scales those are? I have to check, but those go from 0 to 1. Or they might be alphas on RGB. I'm not sure what they are actually. I'm afraid. Legend just turns on the legend, so where it says infant mum and puts a little color to show you what it means. Grid on, you can turn it off. That's just the line. The line's the grid. GCA is to do with the coloring. It's the color scheme, I think. And Axe, is that right? I can't remember, to be honest. Axe might, yeah, font size of maybe the axis stuff. X tick labels. So the ticks are the little lines you get going along. So every time there's a little tick, which is where the data point is on the x-axis, it says toy 1, toy 2, toy 3, partner and attentive, which is what we want here. Then you've got your Y label. It says seconds. You might want it to say, let's put time in seconds, like that maybe. And then I've defined the font weight as bold and the font size is 18. And the X label, I called it gaze type. Whatever you want. And that's all that. And let's watch and see if it works, I guess. It takes, oh, it hasn't worked. Yeah. Hang on, let me just check. Display name. 1 second. Yeah, you're going to get the same. It's because it's got 2 things in it, isn't it? Yeah.
I've got a completely different error to you as well.
I know what the error is. I'm just trying to work out how we can fix that. We've actually got we've got loads. We've got 4 columns in here as well. Let me just get rid of, I'm just getting rid of the frame one for a second.
Just make sure to change your timetable one as well at the top.
Yeah. And change that to just X as well. There we go. That's why. It's because we had 4 columns and it was trying to name it only with 2 things. So yes, there's a few things to change there. So I've changed it back to 2 columns in the matrix. I commented out the frame number 1, and then I just changed the X plus 10 back to X. And now you should have a nice, nice looking bar chart.
Did it work for you?
Oh, can you not see mine?
No, and also mine doesn't like it. It doesn't like 34 face color.
There you go. It doesn't like 34 face color.
Oh, sorry, my line's on 34. Yours is 19, the face color one.
What does it not like about it?
Just invalid expression. Which is bizarre because I have copied it from you completely.
Can you share? Can you? Yeah. Can you see my chart now? Can you see?
Yeah, I can see your chart now. It's very pretty.
Is yours working, Bexy?
Mine says there's an error in line 12.
Okay, that's going to be to do with the X and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's this line.
Yeah. Can you put a breakpoint before it on like line 33 and see if it runs? Oh, it doesn't let you do it. If you go to the bottom in your command window,
yeah,
and just type CLC,
and then do it.
Put the breakpoint, yeah.
Mm.
Oh, it doesn't let you do it. Oh, that's annoying, isn't it? Or clear. Maybe you got to clear it at the bottom. I don't know if that helps.
Mine's worked now. I took out the plus 10 or off the plus 10.
Right. Oh, it's annoying, doesn't let you do that. Scroll up a step. Chris, you changed the thing, right, to 5.2. You put all the copy things in. Yeah. It works. All right.
Maybe I've done, like, let me just see if I can Let's just see if this all works with me.
You can get rid of those 2 lines and see. Yeah, see if that works first. Okay, get rid of those set HB lines, or uncomment all of that again, and then get rid of those 34 and 35. It might just, I don't know what. Yeah, sorry, not get rid of. Yeah, comment them out and try now.
No, it's a problem on 36.
Something missing.
I've obviously copied something, or something's missing. Invalid expression, check for missing characters. I'm just trying to work out like.
Can you just comment everything except for figure 1? And that should run, and just open a blank thing.
Yeah, that did that.
And now try it. Yeah, try each one.
Oh, double commented it.
You pressed Mac and T on comments. Mac and T and Mac and.
Wow.
Okay. I can see it. I can see it.
Yeah, you can see it.
I think so. Oh no, maybe not.
Okay, so
Why mine is.
this is really bizarre because it's like working like 1 by 1.
That work? That working?
Yeah, no, I so
Okay.
so freaking bizarre. It's like working like very slowly. Oh,
There it is.
that doesn't like it. However, like have got the bar chart. Just
it's weird that, and then legend doesn't work either, does it? Yours is working, Bexy. What version of Matlab are you on, Bexy?
well,
It says R 2020B.
and I'm on 2019A. So
I wonder if they brought something in.
yeah.
They might have brought in. They might have brought something in.
Oh, it's just I really need to buy a new laptop, don't I?
Expression. Can you get rid of? Maybe we'll change the face color. Hang on, bar chart set face color. Let's just change it to a different thing. Maybe. Hang on. Oh, that should be right.
I knew it was my bloody MATLAB again. Fucking thing.
That should be right. Can you just put, instead of putting those numbers in the square brackets, just put the letter R in the square bracket. Just put the letter R, and then in the one below, we're going to put the letter
G or G
or B, yeah, or B, yeah, or G or whatever.
and then
Try those 2 now. Oh wait, sorry. Get rid of the sorry. Instead of the square brackets, put them in like apostrophes, single quotation marks.
Yeah.
Do a lowercase r and lowercase g as well. Yeah. Same issue.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think it must just be a MATLAB thing.
I think it's a MATLAB.
Set face color.
Wow. Well, does my bar chart look the same as yours? Yes, I guess it just hasn't put the.
Yeah, it does. It just hasn't done
Yeah.
that the same. It just hasn't done the things. Yeah, make. Oh, hang on. Set HB. Try. Let me see your code again a sec. Set HB1, comma. Yeah, it should say set HB1, comma. Face color should be in things, and then R. Yeah, that's it. It should work. There's no reason why it shouldn't work.
Just like R.
Yeah.
And then
G or something. Yeah, that really should work. Try it again.
No, still doesn't like it.
We've got HP. Can you? I don't know why I've got it there, but at the end of line 33, get rid of that random apostrophe. I don't know why it's there. I've got it as well, like 3 before the bracket. At the right at the end, right at the far right.
Yeah.
I've got it as well, but just delete that a sec, see what that does. Okay, put that back in. I don't know what that's for. It doesn't seem to correspond to anything else. But God, that's really weird.
Yeah, I think it's probably like, it seems to be a Matlab problem, because the fact that I can get thing up, it just seems like yeah, Matlab, my Matlab issue. If there's not any more signs, I just need to buy myself a new laptop.
No, it's not. It's not that. It's it definitely could be the Matlab version, because I might have got it from their documentation or something. What about if we do set 8 HB equals bar? No, we've done that. That's fine. What's XY? Just try typing in. You see where it says for line 32, when the brackets start, inside the start of the bracket, just put in X, comma, Y, comma, right at the start of the bracket. Yeah.
Here, before timetable.
Yeah. Comma. Yeah, try that. Same, right? Same issue.
Same issue.
Oh wait, what's the same? A column, sorry, line 34.
Yeah, line 34 is still just this one that doesn't like.
And if you get rid of that and the legend, but then have the rest on.
Should I take this XY out now?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. And then the bottom, just put the rest on at the bottom.
Oh yeah, sorry.
37 onwards on. But yeah, sorry, 36. Yeah.
Oh bloody hell, uncommon.
Try that. Yeah, I think it's just some new.
It doesn't like, yeah, some of these.
Get rid of Axe font. Get rid of 39.
Line 40 now doesn't like. I think I would just have to go through and either find out some old code that worked for this. Aha. So.
Something worked. What ones worked? Just the labels.
The labels and the grid.
2019.
Yeah.
You're on 2019.
2019 A.
A. Yeah, annoying that it's. So yeah, it should be X tick labels equal X tick labels, open normal bracket, and then
Squiggly
open curly bracket, and then the
labels. Yeah.
Yeah, that should work.
I don't like it.
Super weird. Has it even got ticks? It doesn't have ticks. I wonder if we need to. Yeah, it's strange.
The thing is, like, I could just edit, you know what I mean? Like, it's not the biggest deal in the world because I can just then edit the pictures, right?
Yeah. It's just nice when you can do it all. Yeah, of course, yeah. Might be worth, I mean, you might as well just upgrade, I suppose, to 2020 or one of the other.
I don't think this computer is so old that it doesn't, this is the only one I could get.
Oh, really?
With the graphics in this computer. This is like a 10-year-old computer, which again is still the only thing in this house that will even load it. So
what's your budget, Crystal? Because I got a new desktop computer for I think £500. It's like super fast and like top of the range. But it's a desktop computer, it's not a laptop.
Yeah, see, I'm gonna get a laptop because I just don't think even with I don't know where I'm gonna be moving to, and it's like moving around a lot. It's always been helpful to have a laptop. I don't have like last year I moved so many times. I don't know if I'm moving out soon. I'm gonna have a desk with my next.
This desktop computer, like I don't know if I can show you. It's kind of like it's almost as big as a laptop. It's like really tiny.
But you're not really able to like transport it, right? Like say if I wanted to go to
you can't go to a cafe, like you'd have to like log in remotely or just happening online.
So I think
there is some stuff about issues with that 2019 Matlab on bar charts. So I think you can you 2020?
I don't think my computer I mean I can try, but I don't think my computer will take it.
Right. Okay. Fine. Well, anyway, we've got that far. We might be able to find a way for it to work, but there's some other stuff in the forums that people have had. But anyway,
yeah, and I mean, like it did a little bit, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god, I'm going to be hand drawing these fucking graphs at one point. I swear to God.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, you probably wouldn't use a. I doubt you'd use a MATLAB output. Well, you can. People do use it, I think, for reporting because you can customize it quite a lot. But to be honest,
other softwares and stuff.
You can always export the because what we do with this, with the final thing. Let's say you've got like 100 mums and infants pairs. What you do is you'd load in all the files at the top, and you'd add a for loop that just runs through all the files and does the same thing, and creates. Probably add the number onto each of the things, and then divide it by the number of participants, and you can get an average number for just that little table. You get the average across all the dyads, and then you can export that, and then you can do it in Excel or something, your graphs, or find a nice bit. There's probably some nice software that does nice graphs and things for reports.
Do you have to add in each file name as well, like if you want to look through all the files?
No, so what you can do is no. Basically, what I've done in one, there's different ways to do it. What I've done is I've done a way where I can manually select all the files, and then whatever it selects actually turns the file names into a string, so like actual letters, and puts them into a matrix, a table. So you've got all the file names in a table, and then you just loop through the table. And it looks at each of those, it loads in each of the files, looking through the table. So that's why it's all about everything we do. Is about tables, right? It's all about these matrix tables and looping through rows or columns of these tables to do stuff. So that's kind of how I was trying to think about those kind of challenges. It's like, how can I get that into a table so I can like loop through it? Sort of thing. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Nice. That was cool. Actually, I like that little bit of. That's really nice. Little bit of code for them.
That was good and helpful, and it's nice to see something. When you're like, finally the code like becomes something. You're like, yay! Like tangible information here.